A very good morning, students. Today we are going to start with the next topic and very much important topic of your next chapter, that is how basic data is collected or how the primary data is collected and the methods of data collection or the statistical methods which are used in collecting the primary data. Basically, it is divided among the three main methods. The first one is the personal interview, in which comes the three methods, that is direct personal investigation, indirect oral investigation, and information from local sources or correspondents. These three come under the personal interview method of data collection. The next one is the information through questionnaires and schedules, which includes the two methods, that is the mailing method and the enumerators method. And the third one is the telephonic interviews. Now these are all the methods of data collection which may be used according to the suitability for collecting the primary data. Among that, the first one is the direct personal investigation. As the name only suggests that it is the method in which the data are personally collected by the investigator from the informants. Now we have studied about who are the investigators, who are the enumerators, and who are the respondents or the informants. So in the form of direct personal investigation, the investigator himself personally contacts with the informants or the respondents to collect certain information, in which investigator establishes direct relation with the informants, that is he may personally meet the informants for collecting the information. And for in this case, the investigator should be very much efficient in his work. He must be impartial in collecting the information. He must be diligent and tolerant to the various situations, and he must be very much patient because he needs to meet various individuals, and those individuals may be of different nature, and he needs to tolerate every kind of situation. So an investigator must have these qualities while collecting the information through direct personal investigation. Now, for example, I need to collect the feedback from the students of their school. What I will do, I will personally contact the students or will establish a direct relation with the informants, and informants in this case will be the students from which I need to collect the information. So I will ask any type of question which I want related to the feedback of the school. So what is that? That is direct personal investigation, in which I am doing survey related to the feedback of the school in which the students are studying. Now this kind of method is suitable in case the field of investigation is not very large, which means that the area which we need to cover under our statistical study is not very large, is limited, because of which it will be easy for us to contact each and every individual living in that locality or the field of investigation. The next suitability to be covered under this is greater degree of originality is required. Obviously, if we want to collect the original data, it is only possible to contact directly with the individuals of whom the data is to be collected. Therefore, when we require greater degree of originality, it is possible only through the direct personal investigation. Next thing we require may be the accuracy and the secrecy, that is the data which we are collecting must be accurate in nature, and the secrecy is to be maintained related to the information. So that is also possible in case of personally contacting with the informants. And the last one is direct contact is required. If we need to collect any information in which the direct contact is required with the respondents, so we will use this form of or this method of statistical study. We can take another example also, like if we want to collect the information about the economic conditions of the workers of any industry, we can personally contact with them and ask the questions related to them, related to their economic conditions. So this will also come under the direct personal investigation. The next method of data collection is indirect oral investigation. Now, from the name itself, it is also clear that in this form of investigation or in this method of statistical study, we contact with the persons related to the person of whom the information is to be collected, or in the simple language we can say that we indirectly collect the information regarding whom it is needed. So we can define it as, in this case, data is not collected from the person regarding whom it is needed. It is collected orally from other persons who are expected to possess the necessary or required information, who are also known as witnesses. So we will not directly collect the data from the person regarding whom it is needed, but we will collect indirectly from the other persons who will be known as witnesses or who are expected to possess or have the necessary or required information related to that person. For example, now if I want to collect the information regarding the economic conditions of the workers, rather than directly collecting information from the workers, what I may do, I will collect the information from the employers of those workers. That is, I will indirectly collect the information about the workers, but not directly from them, but from their employers. So what will be that? That is the indirect oral investigation. We can take another example also. For example, I need to know about the eating habits of the children below 5 years. So what I will do, I will contact their parents for getting the information related to the children below 5 years, because they may not be able to answer the questions which I may ask regarding their eating habits. So what I will do, I will indirectly contact the witnesses, that is their parents, for collecting the information regarding the eating habits of the children below 5 years of age. So this kind of method is suitable when the field of investigation is relatively large, because it may not be possible to contact each and every individual, because the field of investigation may be large in this case. And it is also suitable when it is not possible to have the direct contact with the informants because of any case, or the informants may not be capable of giving the information because they may be illiterate in that case, or may be ignorant to that what I need to ask. Therefore, I need to indirectly collect the information from their witnesses. Or you can say, due to the complexity of investigation, only the experts can respond to the information. That is, I cannot directly collect the information from the respondents or the persons of whom the information is being collected, because there is complexity in the investigation, because of which only experts can answer to it. And this type of method is used mostly by the government or non-government committees or commissions. As we know that government used to conduct various kinds of surveys on daily basis, you can say, or on routine basis, that is maybe annually, maybe quarterly. So only this kind of method is mostly used by the government for collecting the data. The next method of the statistical study is information from local sources or correspondence. Now what is done in this method? The investigator, that is the one who plans for the investigation, appoints local persons or correspondents at different places. That is, for example, you can say a news channel is there and they want information on daily basis. What they will do, they will appoint the correspondents or the persons who will provide them with the requisite information on daily basis. So what they used to do, they used to appoint the local persons or correspondents at different places, and these local persons collect information and provide that information to the investigator. And what is the suitability of this method? That is, when this method is more suitable, that is in case we want regular and continuous information, or the investigation area of investigation is large, or very high degree of accuracy not required, and it is mainly used by the journals, magazines, radio, TVs, etc. Like I took the example of the news channels. So you can think about it, that how they have appointed their reporters at different locations to collect the information which they will provide to the public further. Similarly, for making the magazines or the journals, the local persons or the correspondents are appointed by the investigator so that they can get the regular and continuous information, as well as if we want to collect information related to some special purpose, we can use this kind of method in which we can appoint some local persons or correspondents who will provide us with the continuous information, and the large area of investigation can be covered under this method. So these three methods are covered under the personal interview method, in which a contact is maintained with the respondents directly or indirectly. The next method of data collection is information through questionnaires and schedules. Basically, in this method, the investigator prepares the questionnaire according to the objective of the study. That is, firstly, he must define the objective of the study. After that, he will prepare the questionnaire or the schedules according to that objective. Now, firstly, you must be clear that what do you mean by questionnaires? Basically, there are two forms, that is the questionnaires and the schedule. These can be defined as a research instrument or a set of questions, and those questions may be in the written form or a published form, for the purpose of collecting or gathering information from respondents for the purpose of statistical study. For example, we need to collect information about a certain product. What we will do, we will prepare a questionnaire or an instrument which will have a set of questions which may be either in the form of printed or written form, that is by handwritten, and in those questionnaires the questions may be related to our research or the objective of the study, and we will collect or gather the information related to the purpose of the statistical study. So this was the questionnaires and the schedules. But there is a minor difference between the questionnaires and schedules. That is, in questionnaires, the entire information is recorded by the informants themselves. That is, what the investigator will do, he will provide the questionnaire to the informants or the respondents, and they will themselves record the information on that, or they will answer to the questions by themselves. But in case of schedules, what is to be done, the information is given by the informants but will be recorded by the enumerators or the estimators. So only the basic difference is there, that is, in questionnaires the data is recorded by the informants themselves in the questionnaire, but in the schedules the answers will be provided by the informants, but it will be recorded on those set of questions by the enumerator himself. So this is only the difference between the questionnaires and the schedules. Now these are some of the good qualities, or you can say the qualities of a good questionnaire. That is, if we are preparing a questionnaire in which there will be number of questions, so what qualities are to be followed for making a good questionnaire? The first one is the limited number of questions. That is, if we want to do a survey with the help of the questionnaires, the very first point we need to keep in our mind is that the questions must be limited in number. The second one is the simplicity. The questionnaire must be simple in nature. That is, the questions must also be simple. Along with that, the language used in that questionnaire must also be simple, and the questions should be short and not too much long or complex. The third one is proper order of questions, which means that the questions which are of high significance must be kept above rather than the ones who are of less significance. Or firstly, the questionnaire must include the questions about the profile of the individual from which the data is to be collected. The next one is personal questions or undesirable questions must be avoided, as we know that some respondents may not feel comfortable to answer to the personal questions. Therefore, the questions must not offend the informants in any case. The next one is the non-controversial, which means that The questions should be such that they may be impartial, that is, hypothetical questions must not be there. Along with that, no controversial questions should be asked from the informants. The sixth point of good quality is that calculations, which means calculations should be avoided, or the questions which include calculation by the informants must not be there, because he may get offended by such kind of questions. Next one is instructions, that is, a questionnaire must have clear instructions so that the informant may be clear that how he has to answer to the certain questions. Next point is that cross verification, which means that such questions must be asked which will help in the further cross verification of the data which must have been provided by the informants. The next one is request for return, which means that the request must be made to the respondents to return the questionnaire after completing that, and the informants must be assured by us that the information given by them will not be revealed in any case, that is, secrecy will be maintained by us. And the last one is pre-testing pilot survey, which is a very much important quality of a good questionnaire. Now what is that? Now it is a form of trial in which we do a trial survey in which we take only a small sample of the population of our study. What we will do, we will prepare a questionnaire just for checking out that is this questionnaire being valid according to our objective of study. This will also help us in assessing the quality of our questionnaire, that is, are the respondents able to answer our questions, are they feeling comfortable in answering the questions. We will come to know about the changes which we may require in the questionnaire before we will set this questionnaire for our final survey. So basically this pre-testing pilot survey is done to assess the quality and suitability of the questions which we have entered in our questionnaire, along with the performance of the enumerators, that is the ones who are appointed by us for collecting the information, and also help in designing a set of instructions for the enumerators, that is, enumerators will also get instructions if a pilot survey is conducted, that is, they will come to know that how they have to efficiently collect the information from the respondents, and as well as it will help us in assessing the cost and time involved in the final survey. So before wasting our efforts, our time as well as our money on conducting the survey of the whole population, and if the questionnaire came out to be non-effective, that will lead to huge losses for the investigator. So to overcome that kind of loss, a pre-testing pilot survey is conducted to assess the quality of the questionnaire as well as the suitability of the questions which we are adding up in our questionnaire. So this is the main motive of the pilot survey, that is to do survey on a trial basis in which we will include only small number of sample from the whole population of our study. So these were the qualities of a good questionnaire and pre-testing pilot survey. Now here comes the types of questions which are used in the questionnaire. Now there are basically 4 types of questions which can be added up in the questionnaire. The first one is the simple alternative question. For example, I will ask a question, do you like your school? You need to answer in yes or no. So that is simple alternative question. Next one is the multiple choice questions, in which a question is given along with the various options. For example, I will ask you a question, which subject is your favorite subject among the following, and I will provide you with the options, that is accountancy, business studies, economics or English. So you need to answer or tick mark a question from the given options. The third one is the specific information questions, in which I will ask you the question and you have to give a specific information or specific answer to that question. For example, if I ask that, what do you like the most about your favorite subject? Or who is your favorite teacher? Now what is that? That is specific information questions. And the last one is the open questions, in which some information is requested by the informants on certain issues. For example, if I ask that, what do you think is the impact of coronavirus on Indian economy? So what is that? That is open questions in which you will provide with your own viewpoints. So these type of questions are used in an ideal questionnaire. Now, how companies used to get their feedback related to the products? They used to conduct the surveys on the basis of these questionnaires. They provide their customers with the questionnaires which they need to fill up, and they get the feedback of their products. Similarly, when we go to some good restaurants, what they used to do, after we will have our dinner, they will provide us with the form, with the feedback form which they ask to fill up by their customers, and they will get to know about the feedback of their restaurant from the customers. So that is also one kind of the questionnaire which we used to fill up in the restaurants. So as we have studied about what is the questionnaire, now basically there are two ways of collecting information based on the questionnaire. The first one is the mailing method and another one is the enumerators method. Now in the mailing method, what we used to do, we used to mail the questionnaires to the informant. That is, with the help of the emails, we will send the questionnaires to the informants, and along with that a letter will be attached with the questionnaire which will provide them with the purpose of the inquiry, because the informants may ask about that what is the purpose of this inquiry which you are doing. So for that we will attach a letter with our questionnaire. This method also assures secrecy of the information, because that information will only remain between the informants and the investigator, and the answers are noted by the informants and returned to the investigator. Basically, in the mailing method, what we will do, we will mail the questionnaire to the informants and also attach a letter with that questionnaire which will provide with the purpose of inquiry, as well as will include a request for return. After filling the questionnaire, the informants will return back the questionnaire to the investigator. So this was all about the mailing method. The next one is the enumerators method, in which the enumerators are appointed by the investigator, and we know who are the enumerators. These are the individuals who are appointed by the investigator for collecting the certain information. So these are appointed and they will approach the informants with the questionnaire. Now they will carry the questionnaire and move towards the informants for collecting the information. Now enumerator himself fills the schedules. As we know, in case of schedules, the information is recorded himself by the enumerator after he will seek the information from the informants. Now in this case, the enumerators are also given the training to fill the schedules and put the questions in a very diligent manner, so that they may obtain an accurate information. So if we want direct contact with the individuals from which the information is to be collected, we will follow the enumerators method, in which the enumerators will be provided with the training so that they may become specialized and skilled investigators and may collect the information from the informants. Now the last method of the data collection is telephonic interview. Now this is very simple method of data collection, in which the interviews or the data will be collected through the telephones, or the telephonic conversation will be there between the investigator and the informants, and whatever information is required by the investigator will be provided by the informants to them. So this was all about the modes of data collection, or the sources of data collection, or how basic data is collected, and the qualities of an ideal questionnaire. So I hope all this concept is very much clear to all of you. Thank you so much.